It was an ordinary morning in the small, peaceful town of Maple Grove. The sun was shining softly, casting golden light on the quiet streets. Birds chirped happily, and the fresh smell of morning dew filled the air. People were busy with their daily routines, watering plants, sipping coffee, and getting ready for work. But something unusual was about to happen. At exactly 9 o'clock a.m., the peaceful silence was broken by the loud rumble of a giant truck. The truck was bright yellow with colorful candy stickers all over it. It was packed from front to back with boxes of lollipops, chocolates, gummy bears, and jelly beans. The driver, a man named Tom, looked confused as he checked the delivery address on his tablet. "This can't be right," Tom mumbled, scratching his head. The address led him to a small, cozy house at the end of Maple Street. The house had a tiny red door, flower pots on the windowsills, and a little welcome mat with paw prints on it. But what stood out was not the house. It was the cat sitting on the porch. The cat's name was Milo. He was fluffy, with soft orange and white fur, and big green eyes that sparkled in the sunlight. Milo wasn't just any cat. There was something special about him, something mysterious. Tom parked the truck, still puzzled. He double-checked the address. It matched perfectly. He shrugged and climbed out of the truck. As he walked toward the house, Milo stood up, stretched lazily, and then did something shocking. Milo walked straight up to Tom, looked him in the eyes, and gave a firm, confident meow. Tom laughed nervously. "Well, hey there, little guy. Are you waiting for someone?" But Milo didn't just meow. He jumped onto the truck step, placed his paw on the tablet Tom was holding, and tapped it twice, as if confirming the delivery. Tom's eyes widened. "No way? Did you just?" Before Tom could react, Milo hopped down and walked back to the porch, sitting proudly like a king waiting for his treasure. Tom shook his head in disbelief, but decided to unload the boxes anyway. One by one, Tom carried out giant boxes filled with colorful candy. Curious neighbors peeked from their windows. Mrs. Jenkins from next door came outside, her eyes squinting behind her thick glasses. "Is that candy all for that cat?" she asked, astonished. Tom shrugged. "I don't know, ma'am. The delivery says it's for this address, and your cat friend here seems to be in charge." By the time the truck was empty, there was a small crowd gathered. Everyone whispered and pointed at Milo, who sat calmly among the candy boxes, his tail flicking with satisfaction. But then something even stranger happened. As soon as Tom drove away, Milo jumped onto one of the candy boxes. He tugged at a bright red ribbon tied around it. With a soft pop, the box opened, and hidden beneath the candies was a small leather notebook. It was old, with tiny paw prints pressed into the cover. Milo carefully flipped it open with his paw. Inside was a map. Not just any map. It was filled with strange symbols, colorful drawings, and X marks all over the town. But these weren't treasure chests or gold coins. The marks were shaped like candy. Milo's eyes sparkled with excitement. This wasn't about eating the candy. It was part of a secret plan. But what was the plan? Why did Milo need a truck full of candy? And what was hidden in Maple Grove that needed a cat to find it? The mystery was just beginning. As the crowd slowly dispersed, whispering about the strange delivery, Milo remained focused. His green eyes scanned the map carefully. He flicked his tail, deep in thought, as if calculating his next move. Milo knew he didn't have much time. He jumped off the candy box and dragged the notebook with his teeth back into the house. Inside, the cozy little home was surprisingly organized for a cat. There were shelves filled with books, small gadgets, and even a tablet propped up on a tiny desk. Milo wasn't just a cat. He was a mastermind. Milo placed the notebook on the desk, flipping it open again. The map showed 5 marked locations around Maple Grove, each represented by a different candy symbol. There was a lollipop, a chocolate bar, a gummy bear, a jelly bean, and a candy cane. Each mark had strange symbols next to it, clues that only Milo seemed to understand. He tapped the first mark with his paw. It was the lollipop symbol, located near the Old Town Library. Milo knew that was his first destination, but he couldn't do this alone. Milo leaped onto the windowsill and looked outside. His eyes narrowed as he spotted Whiskers, the gray tabby from next door. Whiskers was clever, fast, and an expert at sneaking into places unnoticed. Milo tapped on the window with his paw, signaling Whiskers to come over. Within moments, Whiskers appeared, sliding through the small cat door with ease. Meow. Whiskers tilted his head, curious about the pile of candy boxes. Milo pointed to the map with his paw and gave a series of soft meows and gestures, explaining the plan. Whiskers' eyes grew wide with excitement and a bit of confusion, but he nodded. He was in. They gathered supplies, a small pouch tied around Whiskers' neck for carrying items, a piece of string, and a shiny button, their version of a grappling hook. With a determined look, Milo tucked the notebook into the pouch, and they slipped out the back door, heading towards the Old Town Library. The streets of Maple Grove were quiet as the two cats moved stealthily through alleyways and gardens. When they reached the library, Milo pointed at a large oak tree nearby. They climbed swiftly, their claws digging into the bark. From the tree, they could see an open window on the second floor of the library. Using their string and button, Whiskers skillfully created a makeshift pulley system. Milo swung across with perfect precision, landing softly on the windowsill. Whiskers followed, landing right beside him. Inside the library, the air was filled with the scent of old books. They tiptoed across the wooden floor, following the map's clues. It led them to a dusty bookshelf in the corner. Milo jumped up, scanning the spines of the books until he found one with a small candy sticker on it. He tapped it. Nothing happened. Milo frowned, thinking hard. Then he noticed something, a small, round candy-shaped button hidden beside the shelf. He pressed it with his paw. Click. The bookshelf creaked and slowly slid open, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside was a small glass jar filled with colorful lollipops. But that wasn't all. Tucked beneath the jar was a golden key shaped like a candy cane. Milo and Whiskers exchanged excited glances. This was the first clue. But what did the key open? And why was it hidden in the library? One thing was clear. This was just the beginning of their adventure. With the golden candy cane key secured in Whiskers' pouch, Milo studied the map again. The next symbol was a chocolate bar, marked near the town's old clock tower. Without wasting a moment, the duo slipped out of the library, sticking to the shadows as they made their way through the quiet streets. The clock tower loomed above them, its giant hands frozen at 3:15, a detail that seemed unimportant until Milo glanced at the map again. There, scribbled beside the chocolate bar symbol, was a small clock drawn with the same time. It was a clue. Milo and Whiskers crept inside through a broken window. The dusty interior smelled of rust and time. They navigated the creaky wooden stairs until they reached the massive gears of the old clock. Milo's sharp eyes noticed something odd, a tiny chocolate-shaped carving on one of the gears. Milo pawed at it, revealing a hidden keyhole shaped exactly like their golden candy cane key. With a swift nod, Whiskers retrieved the key from his pouch and handed it to Milo. Milo inserted the key and turned it. The gears groaned, then shifted slightly, revealing a hidden trapdoor beneath the dusty floorboards. They opened it to find a narrow tunnel leading underground. Without hesitation, the cats squeezed through the opening, their curiosity burning brighter than ever. At the end of the tunnel, they discovered a metal door with colorful candy symbols etched into its surface. It was locked with 5 slots, each matching the candy symbols from their map. They had 1 key, 4 more to go. But as they turned to leave, a shadow flickered in the darkness. Someone, or something, was following them. The adventure was far from over.